You know, when a legendary K-pop group announces a comeback, that's supposed to be a moment of pure celebration for the fans, right? But for EXO, the news of a new album didn't bring joy. Instead, it sparked outrage, protests, and a deep, painful split in one of the most loyal fandoms in pop music.
So what is really going on here? Is this the big reunion everyone's been hoping for? Or are we actually watching the public, messy breakup of a beloved group? Let's get into it.
All right, so let's start with the announcement that basically lit the match. What should have been this amazing moment for fans turned into a total firestorm of disappointment. And here's why. So picture this. It's October 27th. Fans have been waiting for news since September. And then SM Entertainment finally drops it. A fan meeting in December where they perform a brand new, unreleased song, followed by a full album in early 2026. This was it, the moment everyone was waiting for. The group was finally getting back together.
But that excitement lasted for all of 5 minutes, because when the official lineup was announced, fans immediately saw the huge, glaring problem. This quote-unquote full group activity was only going to have 6 members. And crucially, it was leaving out Baekhyun, Chen, and Xiumin, the subgroup we all know as CBX.
And the fan frustration was immediate and just layered. First off, people pointed out that the CBX members had apparently cleared their schedules for this. So it felt like a total broken promise, especially since SM had previously said the trio could do their solo work and still participate with EXO. Then, to make things even worse, Lay's inclusion created a huge scheduling conflict in China. The anger just boiled over, so much so that fan clubs literally organized protest trucks to be sent right to SM's headquarters.
So, how did we even get here? To really understand why 3 members are being left out, we have to rewind the clock and look at this intense legal battle that has been brewing for more than a year now. This whole situation really kicked off back in June of 2023. That's when CBX first tried to terminate their contracts, claiming the terms were totally unfair. A few weeks later, they called a truce, reaching an agreement that would let them do their solo stuff under a new company. But that peace did not last. By early 2024, things fell apart, with accusations of contract tampering, and it all came to a head when SM Entertainment sued the 3 of them in June 2024 for allegedly breaking that very agreement.
And right at the heart of this whole fight is a new company called INB100. This was the independent label set up specifically to manage the solo careers of Baekhyun, Chen, and Xiumin as part of that original deal they made with SM. It was supposed to be the solution.
It really all boils down to a fundamental disagreement over money and trust. On one side, you have CBX arguing that paying SM 10% of their solo revenue is exploitative, especially when they feel SM isn't being transparent with its accounting. But on the other side, SM's lawsuit is pretty simple. They're saying CBX just isn't paying what they agreed to pay, and that they're being influenced by outside forces. Now, this legal back and forth wasn't just happening in a courtroom. It was playing out in public, and it had a massive impact on the fans. At first, the fandom was overwhelmingly united behind CBX's fight for fair treatment. But as the battle dragged on, that unity started to crack, and it created this deep, painful split.
And you can see just how divided the fan base has become. While a huge chunk, about 40%, still blames SM Entertainment for all this, the sentiment has really shifted. A growing and now slightly larger group of fans has turned their anger toward the CBX members, blaming them for the group's instability.
The 2 sides have totally different ways of looking at this. One camp sees SM as this powerful company that's unfairly trying to erase the members from the group they helped build. But the other side, they see the trio as having betrayed the group for financial gain, arguing that if they truly cared about EXO, they would find a way to make peace with the company for the sake of the other members and, of course, the fans. Okay, now we get to the real turning point in this whole saga. A series of legal decisions came down that didn't just impact the case, they completely flipped public and fan opinion against CBX. This number, it says everything: 6. In a pretty stunning turn of events, it was reported that CBX had lost a total of 6 legal challenges against SM Entertainment. This mounting list of losses became something that many fans just couldn't ignore anymore. And right after that latest court ruling, SM released this bombshell statement. By saying it was impossible to continue group activities with them, SM was explicitly putting the blame for EXO's fractured state squarely on the shoulders of Baekhyun, Chen, and Xiumin and their legal actions.
So why did they keep losing? Well, various institutions, from the courts to the police to government bodies like the Fair Trade Commission, they all consistently found no evidence that SM was doing anything illegal or unfair. CBX's requests for accounting records were denied, their official complaints were dismissed, and it severely undermined their public claims against the agency. So, with their legal options pretty much exhausted and public sentiment turning against them, the future of EXO as the 9-member group that fans have known for over a decade, well, it's now more uncertain than it has ever been. Yeah, the impact of those court rulings was just massive. A movement that started with fans demanding justice for the trio completely morphed. Now, a huge part of the fandom is demanding their permanent removal from EXO. The whole narrative shifted from artists fighting the system to members disrupting the group.
But here's one final twist. Despite everything, CBX's agency, INB100, has actually stated that they are still working to finalize details for full group participation. It suggests that from their side at least, the door isn't completely closed. It's a signal that even with this public war raging, some kind of talks might still be happening behind the scenes.
And this leaves us with the ultimate question. In an industry that is built on unity and fan loyalty, can a group of this size survive a conflict that's no longer just against their company, but now seems to be within the group itself? Is there any way to come back from this, or are we witnessing the end of an era for one of K-pop's biggest groups?